awful quiet in here. Not long. Too quiet, as they say in the Westerns. Well, we're here to sign today the transportation budget bill. We're very pleased and excited about this. It's going to mean a total of about $6.8 billion in infrastructure improvement for the state of Ohio, and boy, do we need it. One of the real things that got me encouraged is Director Bray and I were up, for example, in North Baltimore the other day. And in North Baltimore, they have an intermodal site that we are now being told gives us an opportunity to have actually the city of Chicago passed, so that people can have an easier time to move their goods and their services and their products. And the level of productivity is really pretty darn remarkable. They were told up in North Baltimore that they could not break ground for 7 years to help improve the infrastructure so we can get trucks through that little town over to I-75. Jerry, with a very creative way, was able to be in a position so that we can actually break ground next spring and not only make a big statement about Ohio to the CSX people who have brought this intermodal operation, but a big statement to the people who live up in that region. We believe that we'll see distribution centers and real economic growth and significant job creation as a result. I think Jerry has done an excellent job here in producing the bill, but the legislature perfected the bill in a variety of ways. And I'm very excited about the provision of the public-private partnership, because even though we have $6.8 billion to spend, it's never going to be enough for all the needs that we have in our state. So we believe that through a public-private partnership, we can actually get a heck of a lot more infrastructure improved in Ohio for less of the cost that it would normally take. That means that we'll be healthier as a state. And you know, our location is so important. Ohio is within 600 miles of 60% of the country. So the ability to improve infrastructure, to raise productivity is really terrific. And the provision on the public-private partnership, combined with some of the other privatization efforts that we made, can really get Ohio into a much more strengthened position. Now, I've already warned Senator Patton not to gulp when I talk about the turnpike, because people who are up in the Northeast and the Northwest, they're very concerned about the turnpike. I did understand, Senator, that the turnpike has applied for official membership in the United Nations as a separate country. But nevertheless, here's the way we think about it, just so you know. If we could lease the turnpike for, let's just again do round numbers, around $3 billion and have approximately $2.5 billion free and clear, you could put $1 billion in infrastructure. What does that mean? It means dredging the harbor in Cleveland so we could have double-stack ships. It means being able to dredge the harbor in Toledo, where the mayor there, who is a phenomenal guy, where we can dredge that harbor and make sure that the Maumee, the lake, all fit together. So again, we can do double-stack ships, and the possibility of moving goods and services from North Baltimore into Toledo has great promise for us. Then we'd have, another $1.5 billion left, and we wouldn't want to spend it, of course, all in one fell swoop. But we could think about things. Just think about the way in which we could perhaps help students to get some low-interest loans on their education. Maybe we could even discount some of the cost of college education. And in the course of all that, require them to stay and work in Ohio. And we need our young people to stay in Ohio. A third of them leave after 3 years. We can keep them here and design a good program to do it. Working with my friends in the legislature, it would be terrific. So no commitment on that yet. It's just something to think about, another public-private endeavor where we could get ourselves in a position of where Ohio can do very well. Well, look, I've said enough here. I'd like, I think, Jerry, before we get to you, why don't we recognize, let you name some of the chairmen. So why don't we start with my great friend, Tom Patton. Senator?
Thank you, sir. It's been my great privilege to have worked on 5 now transportation budgets. And I would say that this budget has probably been as challenging as any of the other ones, but at the end of the day, with the great work and effort on behalf of the administration through Director Ray and his people, we've created possibly the most innovative transportation budget. Senator, Ranking Minority Member on the Transportation Committee, Jason Wilson, and I were able to present this bill to the Senate floor as a $7 billion jobs bill. Ladies and gentlemen, that's really what the transportation budget's all about. my words and my challenge to my colleagues is that you'll very seldom in your life get an opportunity to vote on such a big jobs bill. And because of that, and because of the additional help from Senator Wilson, and we were delighted the bill passed out of the Senate 33-0. And I think that when you look at the transportation budget, and as the governor mentioned, we have many, many challenges. And I think that the direction that ODOT is taking to look beyond, look outside the box, has been a real benefit to the folks of the state of Ohio. So I thank you very much. And again, Governor, I think we brought you a great bill. Yep. And I thank your administration for all the help.
I'm actually thinking about signing it, Tom. And then, the vote out of the Senate is really kind of mystifying to me. The vote out of the Senate, 33 to zip. The vote in the House party line. I don't get that. Maybe they don't like this transportation spending. I guess we'll have to think about that as we go forward. It just is a mystery to me how we could have that much partisanship in the Ohio House. But nevertheless, we got 59 Republicans to vote for it. The chairman, of course, Ross McGregor. Ross, your turn.
Thank you very much, Governor. I can tell you that in my entire legislative career, all I've ever aspired to be was the Transportation Justice Subcommittee Chair, because that's where I started under the tutelage of Senator Patton when he was then in the House. And so it's been a real privilege to be able to chair this committee and shepherd the transportation budget through the House. I really like the transportation budget this year because it's more than just the nuts and bolts, although there's plenty of that, but there are those very innovative ideas like the P3s that we started to discuss in the House, and then we continued to work over in the Senate where they further refined it to where it really is something that's going to be remarkable for the state. But as a business guy, here's just one thing that we did in the transportation budget that's going to be wonderful as it relates to jobs in Ohio, and that's allowing commercial truckers to register their vehicles online. And that's going to keep them from going out of state with these registrations. It's amazing the number of commercial fleets that register their trailers and trucks out of state because of the hassle that was involved in doing it here in Ohio. And that's just an example of something that we're able to do in the transportation budget that I'm very pleased with. So again, I appreciate the opportunity to take a leadership role, and certainly appreciate the support of the government.
Hey Ross, it's really right. We've been navel gazing on the way in which we can fix that. So these truckers are going up to places like Maine where they can get an easier opportunity to register, which means Ohio loses money, we lose favor, people are frustrated, and that is a really great provision. And we, got it done, and I don't know, what have we been in now? A couple of years. We finally got it done. I guess it's only been 70 days. Frank LaRose, my dear friend from up in the north. Frank, you're the vice chair. Your turn.
Thanks, Governor. It was a real honor to work on this bill, and I was really proud of the way that we were able to pass it in the Senate with unanimous support. I owe that to the work of Ranking Member Wilson and Chairman Patton. It was just great to work with them and to get this passed so that we can get Ohio working again and get Ohio moving again. Thank you.
And from the eastern part of the state, the great Jason Wilson. I didn't have any more to say.
Oh, thank you.
Wife was here this morning, and everybody is talking about what a smart, intelligent, and beautiful woman she is. So next time she comes back, make sure that I get a chance to meet her.
I'll do that. But no, just echo a lot of what was said already. Again, from my perspective, I think we want to work in a bipartisan way to move Ohio in the right direction. And whether it's on a highway, a railway, a runway, any of those forms of transportation are important to us in Ohio. And Governor, I think I did hear what you said in your State of the State. Bring them over. Let's work in a bipartisan way to move Ohio forward. So I thank you for the opportunity to do that.
Jason, you mentioned a very important thing for our state and something the legislature is going to be aware of, and that is the issue of airports. Everybody's under siege with airports. I was in Canton the other day. They're worried about the Akron-Canton airport. We got a problem in Cincinnati. Having infrastructure funds that allows us to do a lot of things for the airports that are really important, which includes, for example, what they've done at Akron-Canton is to extend the airport so they can get bigger and better flights into that community. So that's something we really have to think about. And Senator Patton's aware of it because of the challenges in Cleveland, the need to get business travelers there. A lot of issues, and so this bill should be able to help us And with some other things we might be able to do, we'd be in good shape. Okay, now the two, I genuflected this morning when I walked in the room. We have both the Senate and the House Finance Chairmen. We have this little thing called budget coming up. By the way, I just saw it. It's about stacked about this high. It's really fun to look at. I know. Somebody said, don't do what Reagan did. So what was that? Dump it in a wastebasket. So you'll be getting it soon. All right, let's hear from Senator Widener first. Senator.
Well, thank you, Governor. As most of you have figured out right now, both the House and the Senate, as finance committees, we kind of shepherd off the transportation budget to our able transportation committee chairman, and that's no different than what we've done in the past. We'd like to congratulate Senator Patton for doing such a great job. You know, personally, you've heard some stories and you'll see some examples about how this budget helps businesses in the state of Ohio do business in the state of Ohio. One perfect example actually happens to be in my district, where Ritchie Brothers, a construction equipment auction company, actually we were able to finally, after 3.5 years, create a license so this company can operate legally in the state of Ohio. And it took a lot of bipartisan effort to get these kinds of things together, but I thank the Governor for his leadership. It's definitely a new day and a new way, because people come around the table now when they feel like they can come and get something worked out. And this budget is about that, and it's about that retention and creation of jobs that we're going to be able to see through the successful completion of this budget. And I just thank you for the opportunity.
Well, those are really good words, and we are picking up that the business community now says there's a buzz out, that these folks are actually open for business. Joe Varden was with me the other day. He didn't realize the significance of what he saw. A businessman jumped up out of his chair up in Worcester, and he said, never in my life did I ever think that I was going to thank the EPA for doing something positive for me. But they gave us a permit, we've opened up a business, we have more jobs. I mean, great stuff, and this bill is a very important part of it. And Representative Chairman Amstutz, you know, as we get closer to the budget, you look smarter and better looking the closer we get. It's your turn.
Well, we'll see how long that lasts. I am from Worcester, and I am aware that in our state, our arterial modes of transportation are critical to the heartbeat of our state's economy and the quality of life for our citizens as we try to move what they do in their work and in their other needs for transportation around the state effectively. The bill that has been delivered, I believe, is going to be good for our state going forward. It gets us ready for this construction season and the next. I will say, Governor, that we delivered a unanimous vote in the committee and in the House, on the House version of the budget, and I think really the thing that didn't get the comfort level developed at the end was probably the public-private partnership component. And I did caution the House as it went out of the House that this was on a fast track and that people should be involved in that issue, because it could very well come back to us as we finish the work on that budget. Ultimately, I think there will be recognition of the value of this new and innovative component. And so I look forward to working with the administration, as many of us do, in working to make our state stronger. And the transportation budget bill that we're completing action on here today is a very good centerpiece for that action. Thank you.
You know, and it should be noted with these Republicans, with both Ron and with Ross, I mean, you know, it's important for us to make our case. And as this bill got to the House, I don't think all the T's were crossed and the I's were dotted in terms of what we wanted to do on the public-private partnership. To their credit, they said, we'll keep it open, but you know, you got to come back and work it more. Got it over in the Senate, improved it, and got it back to the House, and that's the way it works. You know, in this legislative process, you have to rely on the legislature to do some improvements. They did it in Jobs Ohio, and they've done it here. So let me also now introduce Jerry Ray, who of course is our Director of the Department of Transportation. Jerry?
Certainly we're pleased to have a budget, and we thank the Governor for his help and support, the Chairman that you've heard from today, the members of the General Assembly. I should point out that our budget is a robust budget, but it is predicated on the assumption that we're going to have a federal transportation bill. and we don't know exactly what that bill will be. Hopefully we'll have something starting this summer. We'll have some information of that, and it will kick in October. Now it's our job to be a lean, efficient organization and deliver the goods for the people of the state of Ohio. We've been given tools, private partnerships, and other things that should allow us to expedite projects, to do things smarter and faster. We also have the job of vetting and selecting projects, and that means we have to separate the wants and the needs. There are a lot of projects that are wants, and there are other projects that are needs, and it's our job to make sure that we pick the right projects and provide the maximum return on investment for the people of Ohio.
And right before I sign, Jared, you'll stay just for a second. You know, there's been concern about the mass transit money. And my understanding is the mass transit is important. I mean, and particularly in our core cities, you got to be able to move people around. People that don't have a lot can't get to work. And but we've had to make some tough decisions, and one of them involves a streetcar in Cincinnati, which is a difficult decision. But Jerry's doing all this on the basis of where we think we can get the jobs created. However, when you look at the historical trend of mass transit, we are up. Not based on some theory or budget that was never going to happen, but based on, you know, where we have been historically in the state. So we have decided that this is important. It's not the end all of anything, but it's important that we have a healthy system in our cities. But it's also very important that you know, these dollars are precious. This is, I mean, whoever said it best up here, this is jobs. That's what this is all about. And with the public-private side of this, Jerry, tell them what the potential is for that.
Well, that allows us to leverage private dollars and also transfer some of the risk to the private side and do projects, everything from small maintenance projects to large complex projects, for example, like the Prince Bridge in Cincinnati, and we could do that project for less money and faster and also leverage private dollars. So it's a very valuable tool for us to have.
Okay, thank you. Let's sign here. So for those who are out-of-towners that are here today, John, how are you?
Good to see you.
I want you to know that you need to move off that spot, because that's exactly where Abraham Lincoln was sitting when he was in this office with the governor, and he found out that the House of Representatives, the U.S. House of Representatives, had confirmed the Electoral College. It was that moment that Abraham Lincoln realized that truly he was going to be President of the United States.
So, lightning will strike twice, and it'll happen to me here if I stand it.
There's a preceding process. Gentlemen, may I have you step forward, please?
Okay, have you guys seen how this works? See, I get to go. Oh, Matt, it's not every letter in March, is it? Well, let me start with mine. Okay. We don't have enough pens here, Matt. Where's Matt?
Recycle this one.
No, we're gonna. No, you're gonna have a separate one. No, that's not. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. That's special. You're special. We're getting our money's worth out of these pens. They're nice little pens. Now you take these things and you give them to your kids. You know, one time I caught a baseball at Forbes Field, and I had this ball, and I took it home, and one of my buddies came over, and he said, "Hey, we need a ball," and he took my goddamn baseball. We went up to the field, and they knocked it in the weeds, and we never found it. So, I'm going tomorrow to Cleveland for a ceremony, a memorial ceremony for my friend Bob Feller. Very, very excited about that. And he's a great man. And maybe that is exactly why last night the Cleveland Cavaliers whomped the Miami Heat. Huh? What do you think of that? How about a round of applause in here for him? Okay.
Frank? Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Ross. Not you, Frank. You don't get those pens. What the heck? Pen, you want to come up and have a pen, Frank? Come on, I'll give you a pen. Please. I guess we'll take a few questions. So, bill is signed. It's now law. Huh?